Sports Lounge, the 250th edition. Nathan Stack and Marcus Strax are here. 250 right now. A lot of shows, folks. A lot of shows.
It's a quarter of 1,000 by my math.
Quarter of a century we've been doing this damn thing.
We get to 1,000 shows, that's not a good sign.
something went wrong.
Something bad happened.
So we're done with the first quarter. Honestly, the second quarter. How many shows? Yeah.
I could see 500 shows. I don't think 500 shows is out of the question. But honestly, if we get anywhere near 1,000, that's not good.
Would this be
only 3?
We would be the Simpsons of sports chat shows.
Sure.
Along for way too long? Yeah, I agree.
We're probably not going to do a show next week or for a couple of weeks. It'll be a few weeks off. But, we did a show for almost like 3 years in a row. And, 150, that'd be 3 straight years. So to get to 500, I'm thinking probably 5.5 years.
It's going to be
Are we counting the television shows factor into this, right?
This number starts with the 2012, the podcast, and then it went into this.
Ah, gotcha.
So we probably did 60 or 70 of those before we got to this. So that's what this number encompasses. So there we go. But then like the TV show we did about 15 that first run. Second run was about 30, so we'll call it 45. You did your thing for what, 5 years?
Yep, and
there's already too much math involved here.
There's probably 150 of those, you would think.
Oh, easily.
And then you've done we're up to 125 sports block podcasts.
I'd say so, yeah.
So 250, 350, 450. We've already done 500 of them.
Dynasty.
Probably approaching 600. So there you go. NBA playoffs. First round is now finally wrapped up. The NFL draft.
Before we get to that, can I just make a comment not related to the 250 shows? It is a great accomplishment.
Right.
I believe at least 2/3 of this show currently has Nashville, Winnipeg hockey on.
I do.
You do as well. So 3 out of 3.
3/3. 3/3 have it.
It's because there's no other playoff game.
There literally is nothing else on tonight other than Yankees, Angels here in a little bit. But I was on the phone with my dad just a little bit ago, and he saw the fish thing, them throwing the fish, and he saw the shotgunning of the beers from the Titans offensive line, and he goes, "Is this a thing there?" And I said, "Yes, it is a thing there." So I had to explain to my dad the infatuation that Nashville has with throwing catfish on the ice. He didn't seem appalled by it or anything, but it was kind of funny.
They throw catfish on the ice. We just throw water from our lakes onto the pond at the XL.
Our ice. How about we defend our ice a little bit better than just throwing a jug of water on it? That's
Here's at the first Sports Lounge was Sports Lounge 52.
52.
The Google Hangout. So this would be Sports Lounge 198. On the Google Hangout, we've mixed in some the Summit League Sports Lounge is mixed in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
February 2nd, 2014. That'd be 4.5 years, a little over 4 years on the Google Hangout.
Super Bowl Sunday? Well, I mean, was the Super Bowl happening then?
Maybe. Possibly. Could have very well been. NFL draft wrapped up yesterday. First surprise stacking was cornerback from Ohio State going 4. From there, maybe Josh Rosen going to Arizona.
I think if you want to look at it, that Baker Mayfield would go number 1 to the Browns. You certainly could, though that had certainly gained steam throughout Thursday and even late Wednesday night. But I would say, Denzel Ward going 4 to the Browns. I get it. He's a lockdown cornerback, but with Bradley Chubb right there, that makes zero sense to me, I guess. I know you need lockdown cornerback, but why wouldn't you put Chubb next to, or like with Myles Garrett, and have a lethal defensive end combo for years to come? That to me just was not a great decision by the Browns.
The one thing I would say about the Browns, and something that people have kind of discussed is obviously they liked Baker Mayfield enough to take him with the first pick. Do we know if any of the other teams involved liked him that much?
I thought I had him going to the Jets. I think the Jets would have taken him.
I believe I agree with that assessment.
Yeah, and so my question is like, do you think they had him as like the number one guy on their list? Like,
I would hope so.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. I would say even the Jets probably didn't. I think they were probably happy to get Darnold. So, and I would say the other question I would kind of have is do you think the Giants had Barkley as their number one guy regardless?
Yes.
And so that's it's interesting. I think the Giants are probably just as ripe for any criticism. I'm fine with them taking Barkley, but Eli Manning is not getting any younger, and they have to sort of address the quarterback situation at some point.
Kyle Oleta, a quarterback from Richmond. Here's a guy at the FCS level who got his team into the playoffs multiple years. Very good. Didn't have a lot of supporting cast around, kind of like Josh Allen. Did a very good job though. I think that's why they had great value taking him in like the 5th round. I can't even fucking remember what round it was. It was so long ago.
Honestly.
4th round.
And honestly, he's this year's Davis Webb. So congratulations, Giants. You got the exact same quarterback you drafted last year, I believe. So nice going. But I guess back to your point, I don't have a problem with Denzel Ward, but in the light of not drafting Bradley Chubb, who I think was the best defensive player available, I don't know what that was about.
Hell, I would even
Denzel Ward would be fine. I think the one maybe like big picture thing, and this would certainly apply to the Vikings, would apply to the Packers, obviously. You want cornerbacks. You need to be able to stop pass receivers on the other team. So I guess you understand it in that sense, but it's weird.
Hell, I mean, if they had taken Derwin James, I probably wouldn't have had a problem with that. Minkah Fitzpatrick wouldn't have had a problem with that. It's just Denzel Ward seems to be like that hot guy that was, or that hot name that was right.
Hot guy, Denzel Ward, hot guy.
He kept rising up the rank. I'm a little unsure if he was really worthy of the 4th overall pick, as mentioned, with the fact that Bradley Chubb was available.
And then you got Denver, certainly happy to have Bradley Chubb. I think they were maybe in a situation where they were probably thinking like Quentin Nelson would be the best guy they were going to have if it was not going to be a quarterback.
They had a trade in place with Buffalo, but when Chubb was available, John Elway said, nope, I can't do it. So they nixed the trade to take Chubb.
Yeah, makes sense.
So Denzel Ward going 4 was a surprise. But I look at it, Browns in their 2nd round picks, they did not take a defensive end. They took guard from Nevada.
And Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, that's a fantastic deal right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because you look at the cornerbacks here, it didn't appear it was a very good cornerback draft, I guess. You had Denzel Ward. You had Jair Alexander went to the Packers at 18. You had Mike Hughes goes to the Vikings at 30. And then Josh Jackson is the next guy taken at 45 with Green Bay. So in the top 50 picks, there's only 4 corners. 2 of them to Green Bay, 1 to Minnesota, 1 to Cleveland. So maybe they thought that, it's not a very deep cornerback draft, so let's get a guy there.
Can I don't know if you mind if I just take this to the Vikings conversation here, because obviously they took a cornerback. Offensive line was their big need. They end up having to get Brian O'Neill with pick 62. For some people, that wasn't good enough. I'm curious what your assessment was, and I think if you have it by position. How many offensive linemen went in that top 60, those first 2 rounds? It was a lot of them. And, everybody sort of has that need. 11 seems about right.
Brian O'Neill was number 12.
And so my question would be is, did you think this was a good offensive line draft? Because it seemed like there were some reaches. There were maybe some guys available late in that second round that were still gone before the Vikings picked. I'm curious what your guys' reaction was, as it pertains to the Vikings and the offensive line thing, because it seemed like going into the draft, people were saying, oh, yeah, good offensive line guys available. And then when the Vikings messed up the pick, they're like, yeah, offensive line, not that good this year. And I'm like, well, is that just because the Vikings may have pissed the bed? I don't know.
Some people think this guy might be the best corner in the draft.
Yes. Yeah.
And I want to preface this. I don't have a problem with the Mike Hughes pick at all.
No, I don't.
I think given what happened in the NFC Championship game, I think it's fine you take another defensive back. So I don't have a problem with that at all.
Hell, given the second half against New Orleans, I was never much of a Will Hernandez fan. So if they had made that pick, I would have been like, okay, it's addressing an offensive line need. But
somehow I was informed that you felt that way, Stacken, by the other person involved in this conversation today. And boy, is that good stuff.
So, I mean, if they had taken him, I would have been like, that's fine, but you got to prove it to me. The value pick.
Drinking the milk.
Is that milk?
No, this is whey protein, water, and Crystal Light lemonade.
Thick. He's getting
milk.
No, it looks like that. No, so I mean, if you're looking at Mike Hughes, he's a guy who was ranked as high as the 15th best player in the draft, 15 to 20, and somewhere in that range. So value-wise, it's great. You mentioned, and I think rightfully so, that the Vikings had major issues in the NFC Championship game in the second half against the Saints. So I think secondary was in need there. I think, to be honest, I think that offensive line would have been a reach there, Connor Williams or Will Hernandez. But so
Will Hernandez did go early in the second round.
He did, and I'm fine with that. But the Giants need help on the offensive line, much more so than the Vikings do. So I guess I'm fine with the pick. I'm really indifferent on this whole entire Vikings draft. I don't feel very great. I don't feel good. I don't feel terrible. I just feel like, okay, the Vikings had a draft. Yeah. There's no one player that gets me really excited that they drafted. It's the undrafted free agent that they signed. Just 19.
I'm probably of the guys they drafted, I'm probably most excited about the kicker, to be honest, because
he's
got a big leg, and that's good for kicking.
You know who's not excited about that? Kai Forbath.
I was just gonna say there were I read of two people this weekend who declined comment when reporters talked to him. One was Joe Flacco, and the other one was Kai Forbath. So that's good stuff all the way around as far as I'm concerned.
So I think just overall, it sounds like if you read the people's, the draft gurus, the experts, their analysis, the Vikings had a very good draft. I guess we'll wait and see. I think that, the interesting pick along the offensive line, I think is going to be that kid out of Appalachian State, the guard. He seems like a guy who can really do some stuff. I would be willing to bet that he would make the team over Brian O'Neill. But
what? Goddamn second round pick.
Hey, just saying.
Make the goddamn team.
Do you remember who the last offensive tackle was that the Vikings drafted from the University of Pittsburgh?
I'm aware. Yeah.
No, what round was that?
It was in the 4th round.
Okay, we're.
It doesn't matter.
Did he not play extensive? Did he not play extensive time? He played extensively, and now he's still playing somehow. He's still playing.
Turnstile Clemmings. Now I'm just saying.
I don't understand how I would agree with a lot of what Stacken said. I think, you can look at the Vikings offensive line right now, and it's kind of eye of the beholder type thing. If you think Compton, right? Tom Compton used to be.
Well, he's not gonna see.
Maybe he'll play. I don't know.
No.
He's a guy who you could move around. Remmers, he's gonna be a guy probably moves. Brian O'Neill, I like because he won the Heisman 2 years ago. But I guess trick plays don't really do you any good when you're supposed to be blocking people. So I don't understand how you can be, 290 pounds, and apparently he can't put enough weight on. That's like the knock against him, and it's just kind of like, okay, well, I feel like that can be rectified. If we need to get him stronger, that can be fixed. So I think it's fine. I don't have a problem with the way the Vikings approached it.
But there were apparently people that did?
Yeah, I mean, there were people who felt like and I mean, I certainly understand the offensive line. You just paid $84 million guaranteed for 3 years for Cousins. That's an investment that you'd like to protect. It's important you do so. I'd rather not leave it up to, some idiot guy they got to pick up in September because somebody got hurt. So, and they are really one injury away from being in bad shape. I mean, when they lost Elflein late in the year, that didn't help either. So this is just kind of a situation where they do need to get some things solidified, and you need whatever depth you can build.
Well, why not take the best player available? And Mike Hughes was clearly the best player available. So
Lamar
I don't
Jackson was clearly.
Well, I think if in the perfect world, the Vikings would have traded out of that 30th pick, and I believe that they did try and get out. Because I'm willing to bet that they had Baltimore on the line or any other team, but Baltimore was the team that traded with New England, with Philadelphia, excuse me. But I'm guessing that there was enough steam about New England maybe taking Lamar Jackson that at least the Baltimore Ravens were in talks with the Vikings about jumping them to 30 to take Lamar, and either the Vikings asking price was just too high, or Baltimore wasn't offering a deal that the Vikings thought was worthy of moving out, and you get Mike Hughes, and I don't think it's necessarily a problem with that. But like I say, I mean, when the pick was made, I was like, oh, okay. I mean,
I wasn't.
Yeah, there's nobody they could have picked where people would, oh my God. I mean, this is.
No, there's one pick. There's one pick that could have. We all know who that is.
Lamar Jackson would have been quite something, but
to broach that topic. I mean, I didn't think they needed a tight end. I didn't think they needed a tight end in the fourth.
They always fucking pick a tight end.
Round they picked him. I didn't think they needed him then, so that's great. I think since we're talking about the first round, I would like to take this moment to publicly shame the New Orleans Saints for giving the Green Bay Packers another first-round pick next year to move up 13 spots for a guy who probably has bust written all over him. So that's
project.
Well, he's a project, yeah. And I would say never move up 13 picks for a project, but whatever.
Like that, everybody, I thought, that was Lamar Jackson right there. All right, why would you move up 15 spots and give up a first-round pick to pick a defensive end? And that's what they did from San Antonio. Like that you make that move to pick a quarterback. You don't make that move to pick up some random dude.
And it seems like, New Orleans had a lot of salary cap issues a few years back. That's why they didn't have a good defense and everything. Oh, the Jets just scored.
Ooh.
But
and they didn't address their quarterback.
No, but and that's, I guess, what I'm saying is that, for a while, well, I see what you did there. I don't think that the Saints have helped themselves for their future. They are trying to say, hey, we're all in it to win it now. I don't think it's going to work.
To be honest, their future is Drew Brees. I don't think you can really bank on any of the other guys they've got. Whatever future they have with Lamar Jackson or name blank quarterback in 2019 is not as good as what they have now. You know what I mean? And that's
right. But I think if they had gotten Lamar Jackson, you could say, okay, they're preparing for LAB, life after Breeze. So if it's just that whole pick, because now you don't have a first round pick next year, as mentioned. So I mean, they aren't helping themselves. They're trying to win now, but it's not going to help. It really isn't. This is not an impactful player at the number 14 spot, at least this year. Not like the Marshawn Latimers or Alvin Kamara's like last year.
Vikings offensive line, Pat Elflein, the center. That's a home run pick in the third round last year. Riley Reiff, he was good at left tackle. Mike Remmers was a guy that played. He was at right tackle. Nick Easton, he shifted over to center. He's left guard. He's a guy. Jesus Christ! Could you maybe not score so many fucking goals here?
If you're gonna be the goaltender and gonna wear big yellow, you need to cover the net. God damn it! I don't know what that was about.
I don't think he had no idea where the puck was.
Yeah, no idea.
No interest in Winnipeg winning games here. And then right guard, there's no right guard. You got to get a right guard in there. So maybe that's where this Pittsburgh guy steps in. There's not any quality depth on this offensive line. So like you said, if somebody gets hurt, that's not an ideal situation. Going for a defensive end for the Saints, they could use a guy on the right side. They got Cameron Jordan on the left, who is very good. Their defense was greatly improved. You can always do offensive line, but boy, that was that was a surprise pick. And
I also want to mention. Go ahead, second.
I was just going to say, I don't even think that was the most surprising or the worst pick of the first round. That would have to go to the Seattle Seahawks for taking the 5th best running back, arguably, off the board. That's it without address. What offensive line is he going to run behind?
I was reading a thing today that, like, their philosophy is that they want to run, or they want to be like a ground and pound team. And it's like, no, you have Russell Wilson, you dumbasses. What are you doing?
And you don't have an offensive line.
Right. Yeah. You
do the ground line. Who would I like to see him pick? Well,
where did he go?
What do you mean?
Where did he go?
Like in the 20s, right?
27.
Yeah.
27 of Saints. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Darius Geis was still on the board. Sony Michel, Nick Chubb. I mean, if you want to do a ground and pound, Nick Chubb's the guy, not Rashad Penny. No, that's dumb. Now, fortunately,
I'll say that their running back position has kind of been a graveyard since Marshawn Lynch.
Right.
But I would agree with you. It still doesn't make any sense.
Cheeseburger Lacey doesn't do it for you? Like,
I mean, he's a. What would I want to say? He's like an icon to me.
He's fat.
Yeah, because he's fat. But
so I would say that was the worst pick of the first round. I think New Orleans would maybe be a 2. I think Cleveland also with the Denzel Ward pick. Just a 3 given. I guess you would say probably the Bills trading up from 12 to 7 Crins to draft Josh Allen.
I mean, we all knew Buffalo was going to jump up.
I say kudos to Buffalo and Arizona for getting their franchise quarterbacks and only having to move up 5 spots, not having to give up, a first round for next year. The Bills had to give up a couple of second round picks. That's fine. But I mean, for the Cardinals, they didn't really have to give up that much, and they have a guy who, he's got that Aaron Rodgers chip on his shoulders, and he's going to make folks pay. I love the pick that the Cardinals got in Josh Rosen. I mean, he's arguably the best quarterback in the draft. Mm-hmm. So I think that, for the Cardinals, a home run with that pick there. And I have no problem saying the stuff that he said in his post-game, or not post-game, but, after he got drafted about, I'm pissed off. You got 9 other mistakes ahead of me. I like that. I think he's got the charisma.
I like that on, I think it was Saturday or Friday or Saturday, he walked it back to
three. There were 3 mistakes.
The 3 quarterbacks picked out of me, which is funny. I agree with you. I don't have a problem with what he said. I like that people get all bent out of shape about it because it's just, we got to have bigger things to worry about than that, I think. I mean, I liked Josh Rosen probably as much as any quarterback. I mean, I'm rooting for Baker Mayfield. I'm rooting for Lamar Jackson, but they're not traditional quarterbacks in that sense. I mean, they're a different brand. I would say of the traditional pocket passers, I'm rooting for Josh Allen, and it just kind of seems like I still don't really understand what people see in Sam Darnold, but if there's enough people saying it about him, I guess I'll cede to them.
He wore a little thin on me with the way he played this year. Like I really thought he would be the best overall quarterback, and I think he would have been better served to go back for a 4th year because his junior year certainly wasn't great. But Darnold. Yeah. But you can't argue with being the number 3 overall pick. I mean, you'd be dumb not to do that then.
Yeah.
5 years from now, when we approach show 500, will Josh Allen be around?
Yes.
I think he'll be a backup. I mean, I don't think he'll be starting.
Are you saying out of the league, or like, will he be relevant? I think he will still be relevant. I don't know if he will be starting or not, but I think we will know him in the league.
Do you know how many yards he threw for last year, Stacking?
Well, I know he threw for 134 in the first half against Central Michigan and 3 touchdowns in the famous Potato Idaho Boise Bowl, and everyone lost their goddamn minds. So he must have thrown for, I'll say, 10 times that much, 1,340 yards.
1,800?
What are you talking about there?
1,800 yards he threw for.
That's absolutely great. I can't believe you're not talking about him as the number 1 pick. I mean, come on. That puts his 134-yard first half into perspective here.
You gotta respect it. How
many 300-yard games he had, Stacking?
Probably 2, maybe
None.
0. You know what? That means he's got room to improve, Krins.
Hard not to like.
Yeah, he's setting the bar
I've
low.
hated a lot of guys, Stacking. I've hated Jake Locker. I don't blame Gabbert.
Christian Ponder.
North Dakota guy. Ponder. Bottles. I've hated a lot of them. And, boy, Jake Locker was – I'd probably put Jake Locker at the top of that list because, he was like a 50% passer at Washington.
And now he's a monk or something.
Now he's not doing – there was, somebody did an article on him. I just loved football. And because it was terrible. Glad he did. I'm glad he's not bouncing around.
And I saw the tweet, and it was the 2 things he insisted on was 1, he had to mention God in the story and his relationship with that, and 2, Jake Locker wanted to meet this guy's family. That was it. Whoever wrote the story, I don't remember who wrote it, if it was at the MMQB or whatever, but those were Jake Locker's 2 conditions to do this story. I'm what a weird dude.
He lost his passion for the game. I would guess if he was actually good at what he did, he'd probably still be doing that.
Maybe it's in a locker somewhere. Sorry, did you? I will. I'll leave if you didn't.
That was good. I laughed at that.
Thank you. Okay.
I don't know.
Right or wrong, I laughed at it. So
Bottles is terrible.
He's serviceable, still in the league, getting it done.
Well,
inexplicably getting it done.
That's kind of a Rex Grossman type deal there, where the other side of the ball might be the carry job there, perhaps. And if he played well against Pittsburgh, if folks watch the Buffalo Wild Card game, one might say that
got a winning record in the playoffs, young man.
One might say that they tried very hard for him not to be a factor in the Buffalo game, the 10-3 Buffalo game.
What a great game! I'm glad
Tuesday night. I love
brought that up. It was great.
He's bad. I think Josh Allen's going to be as bad as any of these guys, if not the worst. I think he's going to be absolutely horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
Okay, but if
Buffalo,
I also come back to Buffalo trades the receivers every 2 years.
Buffalo, Tyrod Taylor, a team that hadn't made the playoffs for 20 years, finally found a quarterback average enough, not to be terrible.
And they ran him out of town.
And no, we need Nathan Peterman to start this in the middle of the season when we are directly in the mix for our first playoffs.
They could not have made the playoffs just because of that.
In a game that very well could have kicked them out of the playoffs, since it came down to the last play of the last game of the season for that AFC spot. So they start this guy for no reason whatsoever. He goes out there, he throws 5 interceptions and a half. Nathan Peterman.
Do we have any reason to believe that Buffalo can compete with the Patriots this year? I just don't.
Not in the slightest.
Oh no! Who on their they just don't have anyone on the roster that I think.
McCoy.
Okay, but is AJ McCarron going to throw swing passes to LaShawn McCoy 80 times a game? I don't think
there's a whole lot of difference between Tyrod Taylor and AJ McCarron.
Oh, I think there is. At least Tyrod gives you that escapability. Maybe McCarron can make up for it in terms of accuracy, but he's not two-dimensional. You don't have to worry about him running.
He sounds like a zero-dimensional quarterback to me.
Well, and I also don't apart from Zay Jones, who? Oh yeah, Kelvin Benjamin. Never mind, I forgot about Kelvin. Okay, I'll slightly retract my statement about Buffalo, but they still won't. I don't think they'll make the playoffs this year.
I think they'll be like a 500 team, like they have been the last 4 years.
I'd also
I was going to say I think the 3 teams could come out of the South this year.
No.
Yeah.
Well, who's the team that's not making it? Indianapolis?
The Colts.
If they have Andrew Luck back, who knows what will happen?
But they have nothing else.
That could make that division just average enough that only one team gets in.
That's true. That's true.
I also would like to bring up Detroit. They drafted Frank Ragnow, center out of Arkansas, with the 20th pick. And somebody for the Detroit Free Press gave that pick an F because they didn't draft a running back. So that was funny to me. Just completely shitting on the pick immediately because as far as I know, the Lions need offensive line help.
Kerryon Johnson.
They did get Kerryon Johnson, but I like that Kerryon Johnson will probably fit in there, and it'll just keep being a black hole of running backs that they've had ever since Barry Sanders left. And
the last 100-yard rusher they had was Reggie Bush on Thanksgiving against the Packers. Suck it, Green Bay.
It wasn't Zach Zenner?
It was not, no. Should be, but it was not.
I mean, if you're Detroit, yeah, I mean, I had like that defensive lineman, I think, for Detroit. Hey, Detroit's not like there's not any glaring weakness here. I mean, yeah, offensive line. That would be perfectly fine.
I just kind of look at them and I'm like, yeah, they throw the ball a lot. I don't look at them as a team that needs running backs either. So they're weird. They're a weird team.
Baker Mayfield, again, stacking. Baker Mayfield's my guy.
Yep.
Derwin James, also my guy, going to the Chargers. Absolutely. Sign me up for that.
What an absolute steal. Absolute steal.
Unbelievable. No sense whatsoever, but he goes at 17. So those would be my 2 guys. Josh Rosen, I hope he's the biggest shit talker there's ever been. Hope he wins 5 Super Bowls. He's on the best team of anybody. And he'll probably play this year because their quarterback Sam Bradford. So.
I think of the quarterbacks that we liked in the lounge, also Mason Rudolph to the Steelers. He ended up in a very good spot.
Good.
With his teammate James Washington too. That was very good.
I would agree with Krins that I feel like a quarterback will get hurt this year, and we will see one of these guys very early on. And I mean, Roethlisberger, he's always good for one weird injury a year, and so I feel like we could see Mason Rudolph at some stage, even if it's just for a game or a half or something. And I'm looking forward to that.
How many guys start week 1?
Just the one. I hope they don't. I hope they don't play Sam Bradford.
0.
Zero start. You say 1 set. What
I'm saying. Marcus is saying 1. I'm saying 0.
I think Baker Mayfield's going to start.
And Josh Allen, honestly.
I think if I'm putting one quarterback on there, I'll put Josh Allen. But I don't think anyone else.
How the fuck can you start? Oh my god.
And there was rumor that Teddy Bridgewater's damn near not even going to make the team in New York, so that would maybe leave the opening for Darnold.
Well, he's a dumb shit, Teddy Bridgewater, taking $500,000 guaranteed from the Jets. Fuck you, Teddy.
Whoa! Let's not turn on goddamn Ted like that. Jesus Christ.
That's Pro Bowl quarterback Ted Bridgewater.
Jesus Christ. Well, good for him because he gets the $500,000. He gets cut and he'll get picked up. He'll be picking up 2 paychecks come September 1st.
Well, that's great, but he could have stayed with the Vikings. That's all I'm saying.
They still would have brought Kirk Cousins in.
Oh, I know. He'd be a backup.
Be a backup wherever you go.
Be loyal. Be loyal. Anyway, what the hell was I going to say? Yeah, why not?
You're the Giants.
Why not?
Like, if you're the Giants, why the fuck wouldn't you want Teddy Bridgewater?
I don't know what the Giants are doing, man. What a mess.
No quarterback. They picked the Richmond guy late.
I suppose they just think whatever, like, next year's going to be a bad year.
Like, he's not any good. And then the big thing we mentioned last week, the quarterbacks next year, as of now, are not good. Are not good quarterbacks. So if you wanted a quarterback and you didn't get him this year, probably not going to get him this year. There might be one guy at the top.
When McShay unveils his draft mock draft for next year, is Taron Christian going to even crack?
I hope not.
Round 4.
All you got to do is play that James Madison tape, and that's it.
Play the tape. So you had the quarterbacks go 5 in the first round. That was very impressive.
I will say I did remember my point quickly here. I huge fan of Lamar Jackson, so I hope he does well in Baltimore. I was shitting on Baltimore for taking Hayden Hurst over Dallas Goedert, and then they picked Lamar Jackson. I'm like, oh crap! Now I have to kind of cheer for him because I like Lamar Jackson. I hope he succeeds and proves all the doubters wrong, like Bill Polian. So I foresee him playing probably at some point this year in Baltimore, if not next year, because Joe Flacco ain't staying around, not for his $28 million, cap hit that they're going to have next year. And I think he sucks, so he's not going to do much this year for them either.
But honestly, if we're going to talk about the Baltimore tight end situation, they drafted Hayden Hurst, who I didn't understand how he was the first tight end to begin with. Then they drafted another tight end in like the 4th round. I don't remember who that was.
Mark Andrews.
That was stupid. That was dumb. I did not get that.
Yep.
Bad draft, Baltimore, other than Lamar Jackson. That was good.
A lot of receivers went in the 2nd round. You had DJ Moore to Carolina in the 1st, Calvin Ridley to Atlanta. You had 6 go in that 2nd round. You had Tanner Lee go to Jacksonville. That was outstanding. Stack it. You got guys late. What was it? Philadelphia that took a rugby player?
Yep, Australian guy.
Winicky can't get drafted, but we're taking this guy. We're taking Tanner Lee. We're taking the dipshit from Purdue and LSU, Danny Etling. We're taking the shit of the shit here. JT Barrett can't get a sniff.
Every wide receiver that went in round 6 and 7, it just made me angrier and angrier because they're touting this kid from Penn. Like, what the fuck are you looking at Pennsylvania for? Are you kidding me? Jake Winicky is so much better than this guy, and it has to be because he ran like a sub-4, a 4.65 in the 40,
6.9 40,
4.69 40. He did better than that at SDSU's pro day for whatever that's worth. Like, just what the hell? Like, you know what? Yes, you want to be fast in the NFL. I get that, but very few have the production in the hands that Jake Winicky has. He'll catch the contested balls for the most part. I think I just don't understand how in the hell he does not get drafted. And some of these guys from Middle Tennessee or Penn.
How dare you besmirch Murfreesboro's greatest?
It just pissed me off to no end.
There were 397 more mistakes stacking.
Yeah.
How many picks were there? 256.
256.
There were 256 other mistakes. There we go.
That's right.
The tight end gets drafted to Philadelphia. Big fan of that. You are?
No.
James' fucking family that the guy went to Philadelphia.
I knew it too as soon as they traded up because I was touting, the minute I heard Witten was retiring on Friday, I was like, oh, Dallas to Dallas. Like, this is the perfect Jerry Jones pick. He's going to make a splash by getting Dallas Goedert, a guy with the name Dallas in his name. And then the Cowboys just kind of play it off like, no, we were going to draft Connor Williams. It was that Atlanta game, and we were going to shut the hell up. You were going to draft Dallas Goedert, and you know it because you have no tight end on your roster. Dallas, eat shit. You're going to be bad for a while. I don't even see you sniffing the playoffs this year, so fuck off, Dallas.
Wow. What the hell are you drinking? When does that milk go bad?
I have to be honest. I'm not nearly as negative about Dallas Goedert going to Philadelphia. I'm not a Carson Wentz fan, but I want to see him have some success. And so ultimately, he's going to defending Super Bowl champs. I don't think you can really complain too much more about that.
Is it just because of the quarterback?
It's because of for me, the majority of it is their fans. I don't want to associate with that shit fan base here. Right. And just the mere fact that it's like, oh, I have to cheer for them and like their success. If Philadelphia hadn't won the Super Bowl last year, wouldn't have nearly as big a problem with it. If Carson Wentz does play a bit of a factor into this, because I really don't, but his success is going to be tied with Dallas Goedert's career going forward. So the majority of my disdain for this pick, or my disdain, is the mere fact that I now have to associate with this awful Eagles fan base.
Charlie's Dolphins could have maybe helped you out there.
That's why I tweeted Charlie and said, boo, Charlie's Dolphins, boo.
A lot of other teams could have helped him out. That took tight ends. Denver took one. Minnesota.
More importantly, the most important thing here, Stacking, and in the light of how it unfolded, I'm perfectly fine with him going to the Eagles because the Packers passed on him. They could have taken him, and they didn't, and thank the Lord that they did not.
I said there were two teams that I didn't want him to go to. It was the Packers and the Eagles. And you're right. At least the Packers didn't take him. The Eagles, they just make me so damn angry. But you're right. So it took me a good hour after that pick was made to settle down, and then I was like, okay, you know what? This is a good situation. I'm not cheering for Philadelphia like the fans. I just hope that Dallas has a very successful, career, and I think he will be very good. And it's interesting that Mel Kiper Jr. had Hayden Hurst as the best tight end, but then they were talking on Friday before the draft about best available, and it was obviously when they were talking about there's a real chance that Dallas Goedert will be the best tight end in this group here 2 or 3 years from now. Then why wasn't he number one on your board?
Yeah, I forget. I think it was maybe on NFL Network. One of the guys, I think Daniel Jeremiah, maybe called him the best pass catching tight end in the draft. I'm like, what else would you? You're not drafting tight ends to block. I just don't understand that. And it's like, if you think he's the best pass catching tight end, to me, then he's the best tight end, right? I mean, look at him. For God's sakes, he's 6'5", 260. So, and he runs pretty damn fast. I realize he didn't run the 40, but.
And it is a perfect fit in Philadelphia too. You have the comparisons to Zach Ertz. I mean, there were a lot of places that he would have benefited from. I would have thought
a black guy.
Sure. I don't even. Okay, I'm done. I don't even know how to continue with that point.
Name a black tight end the Dallas Goedert's going to be like. The mock drafts were a little rough, to be honest. They're a little rough.
It was to be honest, and I'm going to take this platform to publicly shame Nathan Stacking for picking Bradley Chubb to the Giants number 2. That messed everything up. Granted, we got the number 1 pick wrong.
Yeah.
But it was very obvious.
Second one right.
Well, yeah.
It was very obvious they were going to take Saquon Barkley, and Stacking for some reason put Chubb down. And that didn't help us. So.
I believe that Chubb would have been the best overall fit for the Giants there. They could have gone Chubb and Chubb in the draft. It would have been fantastic, Chubb-tastic.
Would have been good for the headline writers at the Post too.
It would. So you're right. I failed on that. It became clear to me on Tuesday because I'm late to the party here that the Giants were going to take Saquon Barkley, and I was just hoping and praying that maybe they would change their mind and go Bradley Chubb.
Chubb and Chubb.
Take me to Chubbtown.
I think it was my best mock draft ever.
I think it was. You did good.
Well, you also changed it on Thursday, after you.
Oh yes, why the fuck wouldn't I?
You had 3 versions in a matter of 3 days.
You fill out 3 brackets.
That's fair. That's fair.
Why would you not? You filled it out on Thursday.
Yeah.
Why did you not put Baker Mayfield 1? When everybody was saying he's gonna go 1.
Because I thought that Sam Darnold probably should. You never know what.
Accuracy.
Okay. You have all these people saying that the Patriots' interest in Lamar Jackson is serious, and then they pass up on him twice.
We're talking about the first pick here. How is
that not a smokescreen? Maybe you're trying to recoup a lot of picks.
6 hours of the draft, and
maybe you are hoping that the Jets trade up to 1, take Baker Mayfield from you, get picks 3 and 4, plus you get a 2nd-round pick next year, maybe a 1st next year, whatever the Jets would be willing to do. Remember, this is we've seen it before with the 49ers and the Bears last year. Hell, the Vikings did it to the Browns a few years back, making them jump up 1 more spot to take a pick. Remember that? Who they took that cornerback from Oklahoma State, Josh Gibson? Gilbert, thank you. And obviously that didn't work out for them. So it could have very well been a smoke screen. You just never know. It wasn't. You're right. You're right.
Schottenkirk tried to delete his draft. Luckily, I was on the sheet when he did it, so I just copied his draft to save for posterity.
Well, I mean, you can always go back and grab it too. He doesn't realize that. So
edit, copy, edit, undo,
yeah,
delete.
I needed to. I should have just changed it like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
Lock it.
Well, I should just change it to you can't view this, but apparently it would have said I couldn't get to it either. So I don't know what that was all about. But.
I got picks 6 and 14 right, so the mere fact that I got Daron Payne to Washington, I will deem a minor miracle.
Got Josh Allen to Buffalo.
We should have if we would have let Goddard slide all the way to the Eagles at the end, had him be the last pick, then we could have gotten that right because they still did take him, even if it was in the second round. But we had him down for the Saints, and the Saints decided to be stupid, so that's not really our fault. But yeah.
It's the draft. Some guys were picked.
We'll know if they're good 5 years from now. So
we had a pretty good idea last year at this time who the guys were going to be for this coming year. So that was a good thing.
Next year it's supposed to be what? Ed Oliver and Joey Bosa's brother are supposed to be the two main guys up there at the top. So we'll see.
Quarterback for Michigan.
Who?
Oh yeah, that guy. Oh my God, he's from Ole Miss, but he might not even be able to play.
No, he'll play.
No,
they decide.
eligible. How the hell is he going to be the top quarterback?
It's a bad quarterback draft, it appears.
Oh.
Very, very quickly, do we think that Jake Weineke makes the Vikings?
Yeah, practice squad, yeah.
Practice squad, yeah.
I say practice squad minimum. I think he can surpass some. I think you have.
Who does he have to beat? Who are those guys in the
Treadwell?
I mean, they're not cutting.
I don't think they're giving up on Treadwell yet, to be honest.
I think they're very close.
Third year?
Yep.
Yeah.
They're not going to cut him.
They're probably ready to, but yeah, I don't think they want to cut him.
I mean, there's a spot for a fifth receiver there. Maybe he gets that spot. We'll see.
So you got Thielen and Diggs for sure.
Kendall
you got
Wright.
Treadwell.
Yeah, they just signed Kendall Wright.
He's making the team. I mean, Jerry is gone, so we bring in brother Kendall Wright. I mean, he's making the team. I mean, you're not – whatever they give him, a couple-year deal here. So you got that. And then that fifth spot is wide open. You got guy from Miami they drafted last year is just a dude, and you got three guys I've never heard of.
It's a good spot. To me, it's a good spot to be in, even if it's practice squad, because then you're there.
He could make the team.
If somebody gets hurt, you jump in. I think that's a good spot to be in for that first year, at least.
I think he will. I mean, he'll for sure be on an NFL roster or practice squad this year. There's no way he's not going to make it. Regular season.
Josh Adams, running back for Notre Dame, went undrafted. He was Josh Adams.
Was he good?
He was good last year.
But he did run behind Quentin Nelson and Mike McGlinchey.
Yeah.
Maybe they made him look a little better.
Mike McGlinchey, take me to Reachtown. That was a long way up.
10?
Yeah, that was
9. He went 9. Was it 9 to the Niners?
San Francisco, that's right. Like Josh Adams, he had almost 1,400 yards last year. I mean, he had some big games. The Eagles got him undrafted, so good for the Eagles. Talked about the guys last week. Yeah, Shea Patterson with Michigan, Ed Oliver. Clemson's got a defensive tackle. Got Nick Bosa. The bullshit that I'm going to hate if this holds up is a Northwestern quarterback, for Christ's sake. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's not good either.
Fuck them. So doesn't look like a very good draft, quarterback wise, next year. NBA playoffs. There was a game 7 today. Cleveland beat Indiana. It was a decent game. Cleveland led pretty much the entire way. Then Indiana would make a run. And then they go back and forth. That was your game. Favorite first-round series, Marcus, was what?
For you. For the NBA?
Sure.
I would say probably the Jazz Thunder, to be honest. Pacers.
That was good. Some fighting.
Pacers, Cavs also, but it had some weird games. But just for like Mitt Romney trash talking the Thunder in Game 4, and you got honestly some of the fallout has been as good as the games themselves. You had Ricky Rubio just torch Westbrook, and then Westbrook talking about I'm going to shut that shit down, and then he didn't. And then you had the big comeback in Game 5, and now you have basically Paul George completely disappear, and Westbrook took 50 shots in Game 6, and they lost. And now, what is it? Carmelo Anthony's going to make $28 million next year, and he won't come off the bench. So
I don't really think that's up to him.
It's not up to him.
Whether or not he comes off the bench like he's not good, like he doesn't add anything. That's he took a chance. Paul George, you take a chance. That didn't work out. Stacking, did this end about the way you thought it would? I mean, they were a 4 or 5 seed.
Well, I thought they would make it past the first round of the playoffs. I mean, I certainly didn't even think Utah was going to make it to the playoffs, let alone win a first round series game or first round series. So, to answer your question, no, I thought the Thunder would advance a little further. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep either of these guys, who else they could get. Like who would, if George doesn't want to stay, and if Carmelo, if you would just want to try and trade him and his massive salary, are you going to be able, who's going to want to go play with Russell Westbrook? I would hope a lot of people would. But who? Because Oklahoma City, I think, could be in that dangerous territory of being, I don't know, kind of irrelevant. But Westbrook's going to keep them at least semi-relevant. But they need a star there.
I think if that happens, they're going to have to look at getting rid of Westbrook too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be at a point where they can't afford to keep him either. I don't think so. It's an interesting scenario. Somebody will sign on to play with him. To me, the obvious answer might be like a Kevin Love, honestly, because he played with him at UCLA, and he's going to be available, I assume, so at some point. So that's an option. I don't know.
Kevin Durant ever go back a couple years?
I think he would.
Let's say they win. Let's say they win it this year, and they win it next year. He wins 3 in a row. Does he pull LeBron? Does he go in and then things are on the brink of shutting down in Oklahoma City? He's like, all right, I won my 3 titles. Well, maybe somebody, I think they're sticking together, stacking. He thinks maybe Klay Thompson goes somewhere else. Maybe if he goes somewhere else, Durant says, all right, I'll go back to Oklahoma City.
Does Durant have the affinity for Oklahoma City that LeBron has for Cleveland?
I'd say it's closer. Obviously, no, since he's not from the area.
Right. I do. I mean,
it's closer you could probably get.
He did seem to like his time there. I don't know if he loves it that much, but we'll see.
Who loves living in Oklahoma City, though? Let's be real here.
Hartley?
Barkley doesn't live in Oklahoma City. He lives in Phoenix.
Hartley.
Oh, Hartley. Sorry. And he lives in Tulsa.
Close enough. He's born and bred. Yeah, Utah, Oklahoma City, that was some fighting, some weird stuff. That was a good series. Boston, Milwaukee was one of those series that goes 7 that you're like, just wrap this thing up, please, and go on.
And then the last game wasn't even that close.
20-2 run at the end of the first quarter will do that in Game 7s.
Philadelphia and Boston. I think the other 3 series are going to be pretty shit. Philadelphia and Boston. This is a series stacking I'm looking forward to. I think, Philadelphia probably wins this one. Jaylen Brown's out for Game 1. Boston's got home court, and they haven't lost at home yet. So we will see if they can maybe win a couple games in Boston. But I'm still of the opinion only team that can knock off LeBron is Philadelphia.
Yep.
And if you want to talk about Toronto, I have no respect for Toronto. I think Toronto is the Josh Allen of the NBA. I can't take him seriously. I mean,
that's fair.
As poorly as Cleveland played, they still won the series. And
to be honest, that's not even fair to Josh Allen because Toronto has been in the NBA. Like there's
that's not fair to Toronto.
No, there's a legitimate track record of them not getting it done in the NBA. Like Josh Allen, for right or wrong, there's no track record in the NFL for him. So I can't believe I'm standing up for him, but I am.
Standing up while you're sitting down.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not standing up. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I think Cleveland's going to beat Toronto. Toronto didn't show me a damn thing playing Washington on the games
I said it earlier. I think Cleveland weirdly wins this series in like 5 games because like LeBron just plays out of his mind. Like Corinne said, they can't play as bad as they played in this first round, and now he's gone. R.I.P. Travis Krins. So,
oh man, yeah, he did leave. I mean, all it takes is the Raptors losing the first game at home, and then their psyche is completely fractured at that point. You're right. Then the Cavs take it. I'll say, 5 games probably makes sense. 6. I'd say the Cavs could take it in 6 because they will have to win it on their home court.
Got to win a game or 2 in Toronto. So.
Well, that's why I was just saying that all it's going to take is the Cavs winning that first game of the series in Toronto, and then Toronto's psyche is going to be fractured.
Yeah. At Golden State, New Orleans, I mean.
That series already sucks. That's going to be 4-0 probably.
I mean, what did Amon think was going to happen?
Anthony Davis will maybe win 1 game for them. But
be fucking real here. Houston beat the hell out of Utah.
We could,
like Boston, Philadelphia. Other than that, I don't. Could be in for a tough couple of weeks here.
Does Utah have any chance if Ricky Rubio can come back?
No.
Okay. That's my question.
I think Ricky Rubio is a bit overrated here in this.
I would agree, but he didn't play today, so that's why I wondered. Just
he didn't
change anything? Did he play today?
No. He played 7 minutes in Game 6, and it didn't matter anyway. Like, all right, his 14 points and 6 assists aren't going to be around. So I don't know what it is about him with people. Like he had one good game where he had like 26. And all right, good for him.
A triple-double.
That's like his peak. Like, all right, nice player. You're like the 3rd most important guy in your team.
Yeah, with Utah, I mean, Donovan Mitchell, they need him to cook. They need Joe Ingles. And they got Gobert, who honestly won't matter as much in this series because they don't have – I mean, it's him against Clint Capella. Who cares, right? I mean, so it's it'll be interesting to watch. But
so I'm watching this Nashville Jets game here, and they just showed a picture of Paul Maurice, the Jets head coach, and the fan behind him looked like he had some candy coming out of a Ziploc bag. Can you do that? Can you bring your own food to these games?
Oh, yeah, you go on a 75-degree day. Wear a big coat.
That's his own cocaine. That's his cocaine he's doing.
It looked like a giant, like a peanut butter M&M, but I couldn't tell for sure.
Have cocaine like Smarties.
Oh, there he is. He's on camera and he's snorting them. Oh, God.
Take off camera 2. Take off camera 2.
The Twins are the pitching, Marcus. The pitching is bad.
I don't want to talk about them, to be honest. They can't.
10 of 12. They lost 10 of 12. The Yankees, I'll give them that.
That's
Can we
what
get rid of Fernando Rodney? Is that era gone?
Yeah, he's
for the guy. All right. Word's on. Yeah, Rodney's not good.
From what I can tell, Nashville likes to do a lot of jumping right in front of the goaltender. They jump up in the air.
He's doing that shit.
That's
dirty hockey. Dirty hockey. Brios wasn't good. Odorizzi was good the other day. Gibson was great against the Yankees, but the bullpen blew that one. So
specifically Fernando Rodney. Can he be done? Are we done with him? Why was he even the closer?
They're going to let it go to May for sure.
Oh, my God. Why?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Rodney. I mean, he'll be around, but I'm not. I don't like him. The whole bullpen has been bad. This stretch when you lose 10 of 12, usually everybody's bad. At least Logan Morrison's been coming alive. That's good to see. Osteoporosis, Buxton's hurt again.
I think I saw something today that he's going to be doing like some light running. It's like, no, fucking sit on your ass and let that toe heal, dumbass. You don't need to be this. Foot injuries are the one thing you can't really afford to have. So
Irv should be back here in a couple of weeks. So Phil Hughes.
Irv, you're taking way too long. Get your nail. Get finger right, whatever's
Phil
wrong.
Hughes is pitching in games. That shouldn't be.
You're done, buddy. You're done.
Are Are the Twins the biggest disappointment in baseball so far?
Maybe them or the Sioux City Explorers.
The X's, you can't trust them.
I mean, the Dodgers aren't good.
They're going to figure it out, though.
Washington.
Twins might not figure it out.
Obviously, I love my Braves and Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore
is garbage.
Yeah, Baltimore's really bad.
And so now I'm just going to continue to talk about Manny Machado. When do the trade rumors really start to ratchet up?
Call me on Flag Day, stacking Flag Day.
They can do it at any time. I think
is that June 14th?
June 14th is Flag Day, yep.
They're going to wait until the end of July. Why? I have no idea. You can get more for him now than you can 3 months from now. What are we waiting for? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense.
Well, Marcus said it. Waiting for Flag Day.
Wouldn't the team that's trading be willing to give up more?
Yes, he's worth more now than he will be in July. Do it now. It don't make no sense.
Oh, but we have we have such a great chance to come back in the AL East. There's so much baseball left to be played. Oh wait, we're the Red Sox and the Yankees. Never mind.
Toronto surprises me. They're good. Angels are off to a good start. Seattle's off to a good start. Oakland's at 500. A lot of good teams. Arizona's great. Mets are great. Braves are great. Phillies are great.
Didn't the Mets lose 12-2 to the Padres on Saturday?
Yes. Despite that, I still have the second best record in the National League. That's baseball for you. Anything else? SDSU got rid of tennis stacking. What are you going to do now? How does that shorten up the SDSU Sports Update?
Shortens it up pretty good, I'd say.
It shortens it up a lot. I haven't done an SDSU Sports Update since probably the fall. It probably won't ever come back. So let's just say it was a Nostradamus. Let's just say it was a Nostradamus-like effort because we got rid of it, knowing full well that tennis was soon to follow. So,
I think I've posted a few times their record and that they need to cut the program, and they've finally done it. I think Crins and I were kind of talking some of the reasoning or the way they've approached tennis is a little curious. Like, I don't have a problem with them cutting them, but it's like they didn't even make an effort. And Crins made a point that a few years ago, I mean, they were pretty decent. So
2-3 years before the coach left, they were good.
Right.
Yeah, last year was not good.
Yeah, Michael Engdahl left,
but I think that was the time, and I think I saw something on Matt Zimmer's Twitter line or Twitter feed that the city of Brookings backed out on an agreement with SDSU regarding some tennis court stuff, and I want to say that was roughly like 3 years ago. So I think that's when the.
But here's my thing, and then not that they're a public university. I don't want them throwing around taxpayer money just for the hell of it. But I mean, build a goddamn pole shed with 3 courts on it, and let's have a spot to practice or whatever you're going to do. I'm not going to buy the excuse that. To me, to have
Would you not do it in like their big giant, indoor complex?
What's the Swiftel Center got going on? Put some courts in there, for Christ's sake.
Probably not much. I mean, to me, it's just kind of one of those things where it's like to have a Division I program and to not really make the effort is kind of disingenuous to everyone.
It's kind of like having a fantasy team. And you don't draft the team, you don't make any moves, you don't look at it at all, and you're like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't put any effort into it in the first place.
Right. Maybe believe me,
put some tennis courts at the barn.
I'm fine with tennis not existing at SDSU because I think it's kind of a silly venture to begin with. But you got to try. I mean, even USD, for God's sake, has 6 courts on their campus, outdoor courts. They're nothing special, but they have them. I mean, and SDSU doesn't even have that. And that's
Brookings got some courts, but
well, and they're city courts, and they're not that great. So it's just kind of like, what exactly is the point?
Yeah, arguably Hillcrest is the best, and that's being a little over positive about it.
Mike Dahm is back, so that was short lived. That sucks for him, I guess.
Someone
he didn't even get an invite to the NBA Combine. I mean,
that's not good.
That's not a great sign for his future outlook either.
I saw someone said that, oh, it proves you aren't as good as you really think you are on Twitter. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy looking at? Like, do you not see the 25 points, the 40% 3-point shooting? I mean, this guy's really good. He's just
like he'll win the Summit League title for the 4th year in a row. Every single year he will have won the Summit League title because he's the best player in the conference.
Yep.
All 4 years he's been there. So that's pretty good. Hopefully he gets drafted next year.
I'm curious to see what the response was, or I guess the feedback that he received from the NBA and what he specifically needs to do and how much different his game will change next year versus what we saw this year.
Well, to me, the main thing, right, is he didn't get an invite to the NBA Combine. So how much feedback did he even get? I don't think he probably got that much, to be honest. And to me, he really got screwed by all the shitty underclassmen that leave the power schools that aren't going to get. I mean, there's 90 people in the draft process, underclassmen, I think, that were in there. So that does not help a guy like Dom, who's maybe a more legitimate prospect, to me, in my opinion.
I mean, they went up against Ohio State and he played great.
Well, and you saw that move along the baseline there. Yeah. So I mean, he's got the ability to do that. He just needs to maybe do it a little bit more often, maybe get a little more giddy up in his step. But I mean, he could certainly do it. I don't see any reason why he couldn't do it at the next level. Hell, be a bench player at the next level if that's all it.
I mean, inside, outside, 3-pointers. I mean, if it's on defense, that doesn't factor in for me at all. Kyle Korver playing any defense out there? Oh, he's not? Okay, fuck you. So what are we talking about the defense for?
And to me, the other thing is that he's 6'9". Who's
guarding him? Who the hell's going to guard him?
Walters was
right.
6'3", and he was a point guard. I mean, the size was more of a thing for him. It will not be much of an issue for Dom. He's NBA size and body, so that's good for him, I think, hopefully.
Now, I would imagine that they've gotten their non-conference schedule pretty much wrapped up for next year. Maybe not. I mean, we already know the Nevada game.
Got to fill in, yeah.
But does this mean, given that he's back and how shitty the rest of the conference is going to be? Has Matt Mooney made his decision yet? I don't think he has.
Got down to 3, I believe, right? Creighton,
Northwestern, and Texas Tech or TCU.
Texas Tech, I think it was.
So, I think it's going to be Northwestern.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think it's going to be Tech. But score! What the hell? You're so terrible. Anyway, I think they are going to need to have a really difficult non-conference schedule because their conference is going to be so terrible next year. And so it's good that they have Nevada on there, but I'm hoping to see maybe like a Wisconsin or an Illinois. It's one of those. I know they aren't great, but you're going to need more of those types of teams. Maybe Wichita State again or someone like that to really boost this team's overall ability to make a move in March.
Well, I think Wichita State, if SDSU asks, should take it. I'm not sure they will, just because that'd be 3 years in a row, and SDSU damn near beat them last year. But I think if SDSU, I mean, they're not going to be getting any quality home games. So all these games are going to be on the road. And to me, I think you'd have to be stupid to not take SDSU, not host SDSU. That's a chance to beat them and get a quality win at home. I think they should be a pretty attractive team scheduling-wise. It all depends on how aggressive SDSU wants to be, I think.
Can we even get like some MEAC teams up here versus the NAIA schools? Dakota State's presentation. Like
you would draw more for Dakota State than you would for Coppin State, honestly.
Okay.
Right? I mean, State. Nobody's gonna.
Let's get a shitty Mo Valley team. That's what we're talking.
Yeah.
I should check and see the attendance for the game against Alabama State.
Like, what is it? The Pentagon? They can only do that.
Right. Hey, what the hell?
Okay. Like the Pentagon, you go there, you're going to get a quality team with the Pentagon. So, do that.
Do that.
Trivia question.
Beat Missouri State next time.
Beat them. It'd be better with 3, but we've got 2 here.
God damn it.
Marcus, Nathan, you ready?
Turn your TV down.
My remote doesn't work, damn it.
What's the game here? What's the game?
Since 1984, how many Hall of Famers have been picked in the first round? Football.
Just name them, or we got to guess the number?
You're guessing to see who goes first. 1984, Stack, and since the 84 draft.
Yep.
How many football Hall of Famers have been drafted in the first round?
10?
He says
That's
10. Marcus.
I'm going to say 15.
27.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he says, oh, shit.
I honestly was thinking like in the 40s, and I'm like, no, I got to back that way down. So
Marcus goes first. 27 guys have been picked in the first round of the draft since 1984. Is that 33, 34 years? Everybody gets a strike.
And they got to be in the draft now, right? They got to be in the Hall of Fame. They got to be in the Hall of Fame as of now, or are they? You counting?
This year's class counts.
I don't remember who's in this year's class, to be honest.
Well, they got to be in the Hall of Fame, or he just recently elected to. First round picks. 84. Marcus.
Troy Aikman.
Yep.
Damn it, that was the very first name that came to mind. But I will go. I will go with my second pick, Orlando Pace.
Orlando Pace, the number one pick, 97.
Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk. Number two pick in 94. Who the hell is Mel Kiper Jr.?
That's right.
Who the hell is he?
Well, what the hell does he know?
The hell does he know? He doesn't know more than an asshole.
You said this upcoming year's class counts, right?
Yes.
Then I will say Randy Moss.
He was the best I've ever seen, Stack, and the best I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
The food sucks. I'm going to run over a traffic cop.
This sucks. I'm going to squirt him with a water bottle. He looks hot.
It was my favorite player of all time.
I'm going to go with another great draft moment from the mid-'90s. I'm going to go with Warren Sapp.
Warren Sapp, smoke the weed, be a shithead. Yes.
Jets fans very upset that they did not take him, instead took Kyle Brady.
Well, it's really a toss-up when you think about it. Brady or Sapp?
I don't know if he was a first-round pick or not. That's the whole.
What we're looking for, first-rounders. First-rounders were also Hall of Famers, so you can say these were good picks. These were all good picks, good guys to pick. First-round pick because they were Hall of Fame guys. We did good with this pick. This was a good pick. It's probably the best guy we could have picked.
Shut the hell up.
22 to pick from.
I know.
30 years to go back from. It's a wide net.
You said 84?
84 is the last year we're going.
Because I would.
It can't be this.
No, I was just trying to think if.
I mean, Christ.
I'll say Jim Kelly.
No, he was in 83.
See, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's why I was wrestling with him. And
come on, man.
Marcus.
I'm gonna go with LaDainian Tomlinson.
Old Tomlinson.
Ah, yes.
Tomlinson.
Hmm. Was Emmitt Smith in the first round?
Is that your guess?
Yeah, that's my guess.
17th pick in 1990.
Florida.
No, he went to Florida.
I will go with Bruce Smith.
Bruce Smith, number 1 from Vatech in 85.
Oh, they're cheating their asses off. Wave that off.
What'd they do? What'd they do?
That's not going to count. I think there was goaltender interference there.
Oh, it's goaltending. Puck was on the way down and he missed it. Like, I watch this, I have no idea what's a penalty and what's not.
You can't hit the goalie. You can't be in the crease.
He just hit the fuck out of some guy. That's fine. That's no penalty.
And then his stick gets knocked away. That, to me, it seems like he's trying to get interfered with. I don't. But it's his guy pushing the other guy, so that's probably gonna stay waved off.
Cortez Kennedy.
Yes, Kennedy.
Yes.
3 overall in 1990.
From downtown.
Going fucking Cortez Kennedy already.
I know when you're gonna give me all these names. I'll be like, how could I forget? Hey, how could I forget this guy?
I'm gonna grab one of those names right now.
Give me the biggest guy on this fucking list, please.
Well, I don't know if he's the biggest guy, but I'm gonna say Deion Sanders.
Not the biggest, but he's good. He was a bitch, but whatever. He was a guy.
I'm not even sure I could give you the biggest name. I gotta think.
Oh, you gotta think here.
Think.
You gotta think. Football players that were good.
Football
feast.
Like when you think of, there's going to be some Hall of Fame quarterbacks coming up here.
Right.
This list, you look at the quarterbacks on this list.
Yeah, okay.
There's.
But you said it was 84 on. Yeah, so 84 on.
Like everybody's looking for that first round quarterback. And I'm looking at this list here. Was there one guy on this list?
Not very many. Yeah, not very many.
One guy, and he's already been said, Troy Aikman. Hint, there's no other quarterback.
I know, yeah.
That's the hint.
Look at that. How shitty is that? Like Peyton Manning's going to go in, Roethlisberger's going to go in, Eli Manning shouldn't, but he will.
What do we why are we even bothering,
Phillip Rivers is going to get in here, we all know all these Brady. We're all looking for these first-round quarterbacks, these top 5, top 10 guys. There's been one in the Hall of Fame. If you're winning a Super Bowl, you're probably going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Stack. And that's what I say. That's what I say.
That's what you do say.
This is worse than a baseball game, Stack.
I know it is.
Let's get on with it.
Honestly, I can't think.
You pulled Cortez Kennedy out of your orifices.
I've tried.
Cortez Kennedy.
Because I'm going through all of the teams and I'm trying to think.
If I rank everybody on this list, he'd probably be the last guy I would have. Cortez Kennedy. Holy shit.
I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any Titans.
There's a lot of other Cortez Kennedy.
Why would there be Titans? Stack.
Well, I know. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to think here, and it. Like, this is embarrassing here.
We've gotten 4, so it's
Jerome Bettis.
Good job.
Oh, thank God.
It was one of them, huh?
Number 10 to the Rams in 93. Mitchell paper.
Take your time on this one, Marcus. Just take your time.
I will go with the Minister of Defense, Reggie White.
Oh, fuck.
No.
No?
Oh, phew.
Reggie White was not a first-round pick?
Look up Reginald White. Where did he go? R.I.P. Oh, he was a supplemental draft. Supplemental draft.
God damn it. All right.
What is this? It was 1984.
You'll have to be the judge on that one. I don't know if that would count. Was he a first-round pick in that draft?
Well, was there like 5 guys picked in that, or what?
Yeah, but isn't the supplemental draft that like they go through the first round, every team's got a pick, and it's like, hey, you want to use this on anybody? And they're like, no, because then you got to give up. You got to give up first-round compensation next year.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times nobody does it.
He was a defensive end from the USFL. He was taken 4th overall in the supplemental draft. That draft only included CFL and USFL players.
All right. We don't need to count it then. I got jobbed.
Steve, yeah. I look at this draft. It was a 3-round draft. Yeah.
So I assume Steve Young was in that then too as well.
Young was number 1. Yeah.
God damn it.
These were not college players.
Oh, crap.
So that's what we're going with there.
I got 2 guys in mind.
This was on June 5th.
June.
They held a draft for college seniors who had already signed with either that or that. So there you go.
All right. All right.
I'll not accept the common draft.
He's not going to accept it. That's the
common draft in the end of April.
I've got 2 guys in mind.
Stack, and if you pull this, if he pulls this out, this will be a hell of a deal.
That was my strike. I'm not out yet.
That was your strike, yes. Stack, and also down to his final.
Yeah. I got 2 guys in mind. I'm going to go with the second one, and I feel less confident about him.
Obviously, you'll go with the one you hate the most.
I'll say Michael Irvin.
Michael Irvin snorted up 88, 11th overall. Do you feel better about the other guy?
I feel better about the other guy. Yeah,
it's probably wrong.
It probably is.
I will say Stack and said Orlando Pace already, right?
I did.
Big bitch Pace.
Okay. I will go with Jonathan Ogden.
Ogden, 4 to Baltimore, 96.
I'll go with the other guy I was thinking of. And I hope maybe he was older than. I'll say Irving Fryer.
No.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I'll put Stacking out of his misery right here, and I will go with Ray Lewis.
Somebody picked Barry Sanders, for fuck's sakes. Barry Sanders.
I wouldn't say he was necessarily far and away the number 1 guy on that list.
Who is better than Barry Sanders?
I would say Troy Aikman, for God's sake.
No.
I said when you said Jonathan Ogden, I was like, I wonder if Ray Lewis was one. No, nope. Just
because they mentioned it on the broadcast weekend that what's his face is leaving, Ozzie Newsome, and in his first draft he had 2 first-round picks, Ray Lewis and Jonathan Ogden, both in the Hall of Fame.
Ah, damn it, I missed that.
What's the last draft to have a Hall of Fame? For certain.
Eli Manning was in 2004. He's not a guaranteed Hall of Famer, though.
And Roethlisberger's going in, but he's not in. He's not in.
Would that have to be like the 01 draft? 99?
Yes, 01. Tomlinson.
Yeah.
Urlacher.
Because he was the
Urlacher as well, yeah.
Urlacher in 2000.
Is anybody going to play defense, for God's sake?
Good job. Score more points. 99 did not have a guy. 98 had Randy Moss. It'll also have Peyton Manning.
Ryan Leaf.
Yeah. Walter Jones would have been around Cortez Kennedy's range there. Walter Jones in 97.
And he's in?
He is in the Hall of Fame, apparently. You mentioned Ray Lewis. There was also another murderer in the 96 draft.
Ray Caruth.
Marvin Harrison. Harrison.
That's right.
Oh.
Derek Brooks. The Buccaneers took Sapp and Derek Brooks in the first round. That is a good draft.
Yeah, that's drafting, folks. That's drafting.
Willie Roaf.
Yes. See,
No.
like the
All
Derek Brooks.
I don't
Ray
need
Lewis.
to just end this show, but I gotta go. So,
All right, he's gone.
you guys.
Junior
Bye,
Seau
Marcus.
killed himself stacking. Killed himself.
Yeah. See, I'm going through these guys, and like I say, I was thinking of Derek Brooks and even the Ray Lewis, but I couldn't remember if they were first round picks or not. I was trying to go with
Sanders. Barry Sanders was the one.
and that's fair because he was what? Was he the 20th pick? Three.
Yes.
Oh man, shows what the hell I know.
If Charlie was around, he would have gotten this because he likes the 89 draft. He mentioned it last week.
Mm-hmm.
Aikman was 1. Barry Sanders was 3. Derek Thomas was 4. Deion Sanders was 5.
And Derek Thomas is in the Hall of Fame. I was thinking of saying him too. Maybe I should just say it next time. Rather,
4 of the top 5 in the 89 draft made the Hall of Fame.
pretty solid.
Will never be matched. Tim Brown, Randall McDaniel, Rod Woodson, Chris Dolman, and maybe the best guy on the list would be Jerry Rice.
He was taken in the first round, really.
16th overall.
God damn it. I see, and I thought of him too. Like that's the thing. You know, I was thinking about like Steve McNair, like, oh well, I mean, he was taken 3rd overall, I believe, out of Alcorn State, but you're like, oh, it's just but these are SWAC schools. It's not like you don't expect guys to be taken out of Mississippi Valley State, you know, in the first round. It just doesn't happen.
From 84 to 01, that was that 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, there are 27 Hall of Famers. There'll be a couple more, you would assume. Peyton Manning, you know, maybe some guy makes it years from now.
If we are looking back at this draft class, let's say 12 years from now.
15.
15. Okay, 15. Who, give me
Well, here, John
two names,
Kirk,
one on each side of the ball that are going to be Hall of Famers.
Schottenkirk asked me, and I figured out per draft how many Hall of Famers there's been per draft,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd put the average at around 3.
Okay.
Some drafts there's none. Some drafts there's 5 or 6. Some drafts there's 2 or 3 Hall of Famers. But usually there's 3 to 4 Hall of Famers in every draft. Baker Mayfield and Derwin James are my 2 favorite guys.
Right.
So I would, if they're going to be the 2 best guys, I would say Josh Rosen would be my 3rd guy.
Okay.
Those will be my.
I will put Saquon Barkley on the offense. Defense, I will say.
Go with like a Quentin Nelson and be like, he could be.
I was going to say I thought of Quentin Nelson as well. Defensively,
like Roquan Smith for the Bears.
thought about him. Tremaine Edmonds.
I like Fitzpatrick a lot because with the Dolphins.
The Derwin James is just such a solid pick there. By the way, if we're going back to questionable picks, why did the Bucs pass on Derwin James for Vita Vea? Like that your secondary is awful, and you pass up on a sure thing. Makes no sense. I'll say Derwin James.
Derwin James. You get Saquon Barkley.
Yep. But I like the Quentin Nelson pick as well.
There we go. There was the draft. Any other thoughts?
Got none. Kentucky Derby this week, right?
Kentucky coming up?
I think so. I think it is Saturday. Gronk is not racing in it. Gronk the horse, not Gronk the Patriot.
Is there a favorite?
If there is, I don't know what the horse's name is. I have no clue. I will watch, but I don't know who the favorite is.
I don't know. There you go. Probably won't be on for a week or 2. I'll take a bit of a break. So that podcast and all that stuff, Jeff Lloyd II.
He'll be on this week. You'll be on this week.
Yeah,
maybe.
I can't wait to hear him talk about Honor Landry. He's going to be very excited.
I recorded the. You
gonna play that for him or what?
Well, I should. I recorded the draft on Friday because I wanted to see Dallas Goedert get drafted. Kind of record that, but the Honor Landry, I think will if I'm ever having a bad day and I just think to myself, wow, I feel really stupid for doing that. I'm just gonna watch that piece of Vince Young announcing that pick and feel better about myself. That's awful, and I think we now know why his Wonderlic test was so bad.
Like you look at the name, H-A, that middle thing's a big N, Arnold.
I like when he said
silent H. Is it a silent H?
When he said honor, I'm like, what?
What?
Who the hell is that? Harold? Like that's not even close to Harold.
Harold, unless it was, if it was poorly written, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, maybe they were trying to decide, are we going Connor Williams or are we going Harold Landry here? And they were like, let's go Connor Landry here. Like, no. By the way, Titans knocked it out of the park with their 2 linebacker picks. Those are very, very good picks.
Who'd they pick?
Rashaan Evans and Harold Landry.
Harold Landry. Shaq Griffin got taken to Seattle.
So that saves Seattle's draft a little bit because I think he's going to be stellar, and it's nice that you reunite him with his twin.
So he was there. I thought 3 Wingo was atrocious.
I actually watched ESPN for the majority of the draft.
I've watched ESPN. Marcus watches ESPN. There's a guy at the Mitchell paper who's watched ESPN, and the one guy said he's seriously considering switching to the NFL Network because Trey Wingo was that bad.
I guess I wasn't trying to listen to Trey Wingo too much. Really? I really like Mel Kiper, of course. I think Louis Riddick, though, does an absolutely outstanding job. And I thought that Kirk, Herb Street, it was not good. Yep, I would say it was average, but I think when you're putting him in a completely new element, you got to get over the rough spots the first year. Hopefully they bring him back next year. It's better. But you could also maybe utilize your College Game Day crew a little bit more rather than just do all this pre-draft shit and then not talk to them the rest of the night or the rest of the weekend.
The day 3 they had everybody outside even though the picks were still inside.
But there's no one there. I mean
that's just weird. But were there fans inside?
There were fans inside, yep.
It's just weird to be, all right, you're basically watching a monitor or listening to.
But they did this. They did this in Chicago. They did this in Philadelphia. So this isn't. I think the difference being is that the draft was inside Jerry World, whereas before they had some parks or something. So I'll be curious to see where it goes next year. I think at some point the Vikings have to host it, and it would be interesting to have them do it from the Mall of America. Of course, they would never be able to do it because you want to fit way more people in there. But can you imagine, the 4 floors there overlooking that main entryway, kind of where they do. Sometimes they have people promoting stuff, and I think that would be really cool. But where else could you do it? Probably besides US Bank Stadium. Probably that's it. Maybe the field with the giant spoon and the cherry. But
about 3 Wingo was just too much. Too much. Turn it down, Trey Wingo.
And maybe he won't do it next year because
put in somebody else. Shit.
Well,
put in Ponder's wife. Somebody else.
Think about how much that he has to do now between Golic and Wingo, and still doing the draft. I get that he likes to do it. And, the NFL is his.
Does he host football shows?
He still does some of them, so I'm hoping maybe after this new year, that maybe they'll kind of wean him out of doing that stuff and he'll just solely focus on Golic and Wingo. But
I'm surprised he got South Dakota State right. What a shocker that was.
Everyone did. That was amazing.
Maybe it's just it seems like it's maybe just the basketball people.
Yeah.
Could be.
Very well could be. We'll wait and see if Al Michaels fucks it up opening night.
That's right. There it is. Lounge 250 in the books. Again, what Blizzard 2 weeks ago, it's going to be 80, probably 85 tomorrow. Going to be hot as hell. So
wear sunscreen.
I'll just have a lot of hair to block all the stuff. Next time we talk, we'll probably know the finals, the conference finals for all the sports. And we'll see if the Twins cannot suck. So
good one.
For folks involved, Lounge 250.